I recently turned 25 and I want to make a video today to talk about 25 things I've learned in my 25 years on this earth. So let's get into it. So what I've actually done, I actually wrote these out on the flight over I went home for Christmas time to Ireland, and I wrote out all of the 25 things on my flight back over to New York, and I have them here in front of me because no way am I going to remember them off the bat. So let's get into them. Number 1, if it makes you happy and you enjoy it, it does not need to make sense to anybody else. And this one, I suppose I've learned over the years because I took the route of going down an unnormalized job route. Does that make sense? Basically, I don't do a job that's still not normalized, especially in Ireland. And that is content creation, working in influencer marketing, running my own businesses. Now, being a creative person, video editing, photography, all of that type of stuff, which comes with social media, is something I've always been extremely interested in because I'm a creative person. But by God, have I been mocked for everything that I've done over the years. But if I was to let the judgments of other people stop me, I would not be in the position I am in right now. So if it makes you happy, this makes me happy. It does not need to make sense to anybody else. So number 2, time spent with family is so important. So we're not getting any younger, and the older I get, the more I realize how much I appreciate experiences with my loved ones. I saw a quote there recently and it went something like, don't forget that this is your parents' first life and only life too. And I think sometimes as daughters and sons, we can forget that. So one thing that I've really been prioritizing, and I will continue to prioritize this year, is gifting my family and my parents experiences. And even with my work, family is the root of everything that I do. Like, I do what I do and I try to be successful so I can treat my family and I can look after my family. Like, that's my driving force and that's my goal behind things. And yeah, like the older I get, the more I really am appreciating time with them. And especially with a lot of immigration happening lately, like I don't live in Ireland anymore. I don't live close to my parents, which breaks my heart. But you know, you have to go after your own goals at the end of the day as well. But when I do see them and when I can see them, I really make it my mission to, you know, treat them and give them experiences. Like, for example, when I was home at Christmas time, my sister and I treated my mom to a spa day, or else I would go to the pub with my dad for a few pints of Guinness and stuff, because they're equally things that they both enjoy. And I love to collect memories through experiences, and especially when that comes to my family. So that's the second thing that I have learned in my 25 years. Number 3, being grateful for what you already have in life whilst in the pursuit of what you want or want to achieve will get you there much quicker. So we're always so quick to fixate on the end goal, whether it be with business, with relationships, with friendships, whatever the case may be. We always fixate on the end goal. But what I've learned over the years is when you get to the end goal, yes, you have those moments of like, oh my God, I did it. This is great. And you're proud of yourself, of course, as you should be. But then that's it. Then it's over. And I think what I've learned is the joy comes from the process. So the everyday things that you do, that gives you purpose and something to work on every single day. And whilst you're in the pursuit of something, of course you don't have that thing yet. It is really important to be grateful for the things that you do have whilst you're in pursuit of that goal, because the more gratitude that we can express in everyday life and in our day-to-days, the happier we're going to feel, and the more things will come to us, because we're not living in lack, we're living in abundance, because we're already focusing on what we have and not what we don't yet have. So that's another thing that I've learned. Number 4, the days you feel the best are the most important days to do the work. For example, meditation, journaling, exercise, etc. A preventative is better than a cure. So I feel like I'm not the only person when it comes to this, but when I get really, really stressed, the first thing I think about is, oh, I should really start meditating more, or oh my God, I should really start journaling more. What I should be focusing on instead is making it a part of my day-to-day routine and having it be something I do every single day as a preventative, so I don't get to that extremely stressed state. I feel like with a lot of people, when it comes to like mindfulness practices, which I'm very, very passionate about, and it kind of translates into my business or spills over into my business as well, because it's what I teach. When it comes to mindfulness practices, we can often put them off until we need them or until we're at breaking point. Whereas you have to be keeping these up day to day and make a habit around them to stop yourself from getting to breaking point, if that makes sense. So yeah, making a habit and making healthy habits has been very, very beneficial for me over the years. And it's something I've learned in the past, I'd say 3 to 4 years, to make it a part of my everyday and not just something I kind of revert to when I really, really need it. Number 5, win the morning, win the day. Getting up early and being a morning person is my absolute saving grace. We give so much of our energy to other people and we do not give half of it, not even half. We don't even give like a third of it to ourselves. So by getting up earlier in the morning, whether that be an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier, before you have the demands of the day or the demands of work or relationships or family life, you get up earlier and you have that time to fill up your own cup. So I usually get up around 5:30, between 5:30 to 6:30, depending on time I went to bed. And if I get up any later than that time, I feel like I'm just chasing my tail for the whole day, and it completely throws me off and completely throws my mindset off as well. So by getting up earlier, I'm a lot more productive, I'm a lot happier. And it's just really important to have that time to yourself in the morning. And that is something I have 100% learned, especially as a business owner over the years as well, because my days are jam-packed every single day with so much going on. And if I don't have that hour or two to myself in the morning to do the things that fill up my cup, whether that be reading or getting out for a sunrise walk, that's my personal favorite, it just completely fills me back up as a person, or journaling, or even just slowing down to make my coffee and spending the extra time to enjoy it. If I don't do those things, I really notice that it throws off my day. So win the morning, win the day is an essential thing that I've learned over the years. Number 6, travel is our greatest teacher. You get to see new cultures, experience new things, and it opens our minds to the world. So I'm very lucky in the sense that I moved out of home when I was 17 to go to college, and I never really lived full time at home since then. I lived in various different places. I've lived in Brussels, I've lived in London and England, I've lived in New York, I've lived in America, I've lived in Indonesia, and on top of that I have travelled quite a lot. I luckily caught the travel bug really, really early in my life. So I moved to London in 2017 when I was 18, and just that sense of freedom and seeing a little bit of the outside world. I know it's very close to home, but it still taught me a lot, and it really gave me that itching kind of feeling to get out and see the world more, and that's where it began. And I've traveled to so many countries since, and it really, really opens your eyes to the world. And one, I suppose, instance in particular that always comes to my mind is when I was in Vietnam. I did a thing called the Ha Giang Loop, where you drive around the Vietnamese mountains for 3 to 4 days on a motorbike. Exhilarating. It was so good. But on one of the days we went to a waterfall, Duji waterfall, and there was just a load of children there jumping from the heights off the waterfall, and I have never seen joy like it in my life. These children knew nothing else. They had no smartphones, no tablets, they just didn't have anything but nature. Nature was their playground. And I remember it just like really, really impacting me, because we stress about such little things in Western society. And it's not to belittle our problems. Of course, we all have our own problems. We're all different. We all have different experiences and stuff. But it just really kind of opened my eyes and made me realize that how much we fixate on the little things and how much we're in our heads every single day. And yeah, just from traveling, I've learned so much about people, about cultures, about places, and just about how big the world is. There is so much out there, and it's so freeing to travel. So yeah, travel has been the best thing and my greatest teacher, and one thing that I will probably continue to do for the rest of my days. Number 7, life is better with an open mind. And this one is really important to me. I like to think that I've always had an open-minded mentality. If I was to meet somebody and they were to speak of something that I didn't understand, I would never judge them or never put them down for it, or nothing. I would never do anything negative at all. And I think that comes from being open-minded, and also from being a curious person as well. Like, I'm a very curious person and I really like people. What I find, especially back home, is a lot of people can be closed-minded and very, I suppose, judgy, whereas life is just so much better when there's so much more positivity in it, and that comes from being open-minded. And like, if you were not to understand something about someone or about someone's job or whatever it is, just ask rather than being negative about it or judging or anything like that. So yeah, with that, life is just so much better with an open mind, and you get to learn a lot more as well by being open-minded and talking to people. Number 8, secondhand happiness is a thing. Do you ever see somebody and something has happened in their life, something amazing, and they have joy beaming from them, and you can just sense the whole happy energy from them that it rubs off on you? That is what I like to call secondhand happiness. And also, on a day that you're not feeling your best, or you're not having the best day, you can borrow someone else's joy. So if I was having a bad day, of course it's normal to like lie in bed and just have a chill day and switch off from the world and everything. But sometimes I don't like to sit in that for too long. I like to get out in the world and to force myself to feel better. Because although we don't have control over our emotions, we have control over our actions, and our actions can control our emotions. So for example, like if I'm having a not so good day, what I'll force myself to do is, like, I'm in New York City right now, I'll go out for a walk around New York, no headphones in, just be mindful and take in everything around me and notice people's joy. Like, you'll have people down walking by the water with their dogs, happy out to be there. You'll have friends sitting at a cafe having a coffee, giggling and having the best time ever. And just even by being aware of that and taking it in, you can like borrow someone else's joy from the day, and it will make you start to feel slightly better as well. So secondhand happiness is a thing, and on a day where you need to, you can borrow someone else's joy. Number 9, we experience the world as we are, not as it is. Everybody will see things differently based on their own internal world. This one, I think I've learned a bit more recently. I see the world in a very, I suppose, creative way, and in like a very deep way. Like I'm a very profound thinker. I like poetry and stuff like that. So I think that all kind of links up. And I used to think that everybody saw the world the way I see the world, but that's not the case. We all interpret the world how we are internally. Sorry, this is turning very psychological, but these are the things I've learned in the last 25 years that have stuck out to me. So yeah, just because we see something in a certain way doesn't mean that another person will as well. And I think being aware of that is quite important and quite freeing at the same time, because we don't attach to things then. Not necessarily that we attach to things, but we don't get down about things as easy, if that makes sense. Number 10, prioritizing our health is the best thing that we can do for ourselves. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Keep our exercise routine up, stay active, do our mindfulness practices, eat good food. We'll feel better for it. Number 11, okay, this one's a bit business orientated, but outsourcing is hard, but it is needed to grow. Trust others and allow them to help. So in 2023, I made the first hire for my business, Active with Amy, and I needed to do it months before that, but I just wasn't able to. Like when you build a business yourself, it is very hard to let people in on that business and to trust them that they'll do this as good a job as you've built it to be. But what I've learned since hiring, because I've since hired more and contracted more people as well for different like projects that I've been working on over the past couple of months, I have learned that you do need help. So I can then help more people. I do need to outsource, and I do need to hire, and I do need to trust people more. So that's another thing that I've learned. Number 12, people will always have negative things to say no matter what you do. So just do what you want to do. You can be the most positive person. You can be the type of person that will never say anything controversial. You can be the type of person that never says a bad thing about anybody. You will still have somebody that doesn't like you and will say something negative about you. So just do whatever it is that you want to do, and back yourself as well. Oh, I love this one. Number 13. A nice thought you think about someone that is not shared is a thought wasted. Pretty self-explanatory. Anytime I think something nice of anybody, could be a stranger as well, I will make it my mission to tell them. And I've never had a situation happen where I've said the nice thing about them and they're like, whoa, what the hell, you're weird. They're always so happy, so appreciative. And I actually have a funny story about this. So I'm going to try and make this short because it is quite a long story. I was in London a couple of years ago and I had a reservation at this Italian restaurant. And we went to the Italian restaurant and they told us your reservation is no longer there. The whole restaurant ended up being booked out for some party that night. Anyways, we got a free cocktail, we left, and we walked across the road to a different Italian restaurant. Walked in the door of the different Italian restaurant, and then there was this older man with an older woman and a kind of middle-aged woman and a middle-aged man as well. And I remember walking in the door and just seeing this older man, and he was so joyous and he was so jolly and he was so happy and he was kind of giggling away to his friends. And then the waiter had asked them about their table and asked about ours and then went off. And the guy just really stood out to me. So I literally just said to him, I was like, you are the happiest person I have seen all day today. That's all I said to him. And he was like all jolly, giggling away. And he said, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So the waiter came and then called the three of them. They went upstairs to their table, and then the waiter came to call the two of us, and he was like, your table is ready. Just as we were walking into our table, the man who I had just complimented came down the stairs, poked his head around the corner and goes, hi, would you like to join us at our table? And my boyfriend and I kind of looked at each other and we were like, all right, okay. Like, I love meeting new people, so like I would always say yes, but I wanted to make sure that my boyfriend wanted to as well. So we're like, yeah, okay. So we ended up joining them for dinner, and he ended up being this very, very successful person. I don't want to give his title away. I don't want to give his title away, but very, very successful person. And both the other people at the table were as well in their different fields of work. The story would be a lot more, I suppose, interesting if I did give their titles, but I want to respect their privacy, of course. And they ended up paying for the full dinner, for multiple bottles of red wine that we drank, and we just chatted around the table, getting to know each other, and it was just so fun. Of course, I offered to pay. We both offered to pay. He would not let us pay. And then we exchanged contact details, And the next day we actually met them again, all three of them, and we had dinner at a Turkish restaurant. I think it was a Turkish, or was it a Russian restaurant the next day. And we just became really good friends with them. And that was all because I thought a nice thought of someone, I told them, and then that came from it. So number 13, a nice thought you think of someone that is not shared is a thought wasted. Number 14, creativity is so important. It's a form of self-expression and should not be suppressed. Everybody is creative in their own way, whether it be photo, video, talking, writing, music, dancing, cooking, styling, etc. Be creative. Allow your creativity to flow, and you'll be so much happier for it. Creativity reminds me of just being a child again, and you just have that sense of freedom from it and such a sense of enjoyment as well. So whatever your creative means is, if you are a creative person, lean into it and use it. I'm a very creative person. I've luckily created a life and my business out of being a creative person, which I'm very grateful for. And it feels so good to be using that kind of creative juice in me every day because it's the type of person I am. So creativity is so important. Number 15, books are the best way to learn. All information that you need to figure out has already been figured out by somebody else before, and books are a great way to source that information. Like when you think about it, any book that's been written, the person who's written the book has obviously gone through the problem that you're trying to solve or the thing you need help with, and all the information is in the book. So books are the best way to learn. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Number 16, spread more kindness. It costs nothing. Number 17, holding a grudge or anything negative towards another person only affects you. You are the sufferer. Freedom and forgiveness brings peace. This one for me is a hard one to remember. So obviously when someone does you wrong, you automatically have those negative emotions towards them, and you do hold grudges as well. But what I've learned over the years is by holding a grudge over something or over someone, the only person it really is affecting is yourself, because you're thinking about whatever's happened all the time. Like it's going to play on your mind. When you see that person, that's the first thing you're going to think about. And it brings you so much unnecessary negativity. So what I found is not holding any grudges, just forgiving, moving on. Forgiving doesn't mean that you have to still include these people in your life. You can absolutely, space yourself from them. But by forgiving them, you're giving yourself peace of mind, and it no longer bothers you, because when holding a grudge, at the end of the day, it's only affecting you as a person. So yeah, I hope it made sense in the articulation of that, but that's something I've learned, and I'm still trying to train my brain to get used to and to relearn all the time. But I do think it is a very important one, because not everybody is sunshine and rainbows, and not everything is sunshine and rainbows. And there will be negativity and disagreements and horrible things said that will come up in your life. And if you were to hold a grudge, at the end of the day, you're the only person that's suffering because of it, or the main person that's suffering because of it. Number 18, music is a very important constant in my life. Pretty self-explanatory. I play music, I listen to music, I write music. It's just always been a thing for me. I suppose it's not something I've really learned in the past 25 years, but it is a truth for me in my 25 years, and it will continue to be till the day I die. Number 19. Oh, I love this one. One is not defined by one identity. We evolve and change all the time. Okay, let me dissect this one. We are led to believe that we are only going to be one thing in life. When you go to college to study to be a teacher, that's you, you're a teacher. When you go to college to study to be a nurse, that's you, you're a nurse. But you can evolve and change all the time, and we do evolve and change all the time. My whole life I thought I was going to be a primary school teacher. That's the route I was going down. That's what I went to college for. And I still kind of am a teacher because I am a content creator, and I do own my own health and wellness businesses, which I teach and I educate people in. But if I believed that I was defined by one identity, I would never have what I have now. I would never be a content creator. I would never have my businesses. I would never be a coach. I would never be able to work with brands. I would basically never have my life that I have now. So I think we're so conditioned in the world to think that we have to be defined by one thing and be one thing. But what I've learned is you don't need to be one thing. You can be whatever you want to be. And it's the most freeing thing ever. So yeah, you're not defined by one identity. We evolve and we change all the time, which is really exciting. Like you can wake up any day and just be like, I want to be this person today. And then you put the actions in place to become that type of person, and it'll happen. Yeah, it's very fun. Number 20, tapping into the things you enjoyed when you were a child as an adult will bring you great amounts of joy. This one even made me smile reading it. Think back to when you were a child and think about the things that made you happy. If you do more of them as an adult, it will increase the joy you feel in your life. I will back that up. For me, it was writing, it was creating, it was drawing, it was playing music, listening to music, and also spending a lot of time outdoors. Sunrises, beaches, being in nature. They're things that brought me loads and loads of joy playing sports. Sorry, I keep adding to the list, but they're things that brought me loads and loads of joy when I was a child. I still do them as an adult, and they still bring me the exact amount of joy because I'm still the same person. I'm just older. Number 21. In life, there is duality. You can't have the good without the bad. It's part of life. That one's pretty self-explanatory. When you're having a bad day, know that there will be a good day coming because it has to level itself out. There is duality in the world. So yeah, that's that one. Number 22. Steps back can sometimes be needed to move forward. And I like to think of this one as like a slingshot emoji. Not emoji. I like to think of this one as a slingshot analogy. So sometimes in life, you feel like you're going backwards, but you sometimes have to go backwards to catapult forward. So if you were to imagine a slingshot comes back and then it like literally flings itself forward. But if it never came back, it would never have the momentum to then launch. So just know, if you're in a period of your life now where you don't feel like you know what's going on, you're lost, you feel like you're going back and back and back in your steps. If you keep persevering and you keep going, your slingshot moment to go forward will happen. And sometimes we have to go back to redirect, to find what's going to work for us in life, to find what we enjoy so that we can then push forward. Yeah, I like that analogy. Number 23. There are people in the world that have the same interests as you. You've just not found them yet. This is one that's kind of been hard for me. So with the creative space and also my job, I still find it hard to find my people in the content creation space, in the social media world per se. I have friends, absolutely, that I've made over the years, but they're not as constant in my life. Like, they live in different countries and I've met them in different countries and parts of the world and stuff. But what I have realized since moving to New York is there are people with the same interests as you in the world. You just have to find them. I went to a Sony creator event back in, I think it was October, was it November? Casey Neistat was speaking at it, for example. And just even being in that room made me realize that, because I was like, everyone in this room is interested in content creation, is interested in videography, is interested in storytelling, is interested in, capturing something to then make something to share with the world. And I've felt so isolated for years and years because I've been interested in it, but I haven't found people that are interested in it like I am. But yeah, in short, there are people out there with the same interests as you. You just have to put yourself out there to find them, and you eventually will cross paths with them. I hope I cross paths with more soon, because I could definitely do with a few more creator friends for sure. Number 24, focus on the good and more good will come. Where your focus goes, the energy flows. Pretty self-explanatory, and I think gratitude really, really helps with that as well, because it trains you to appreciate what you already have in your life. And number 25, you get to decide every day who you want to be. All it takes is a decision, backing yourself, and consistency, and you will get there. Again, I never thought this would be my life. I never thought I would be working in this, but I woke up one day and I was like, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to work on a PT gym floor anymore. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. I want to be a business owner. I want to be a creator. I want to inspire people. I want to educate people. I want to help people. I want to be a storyteller. I want to make videos to tell my stories, to capture things, to share with the world. I travel a lot. I want to show people my experiences. I woke up one day and I was like, I want to be those. And you can wake up any day and decide what you want to be, which is the most freeing thing in the world. So just know that. And I'm going to be cheeky and add a little extra one in for the end. But the best things in life are free. We are exposed to so much in everyday life that we don't slow down to appreciate the things that we have in excess around us. And when we actually do, you will be shocked at the things that you just let yourself pass by on a day-to-day basis without slowing down to appreciate. So yeah, there are the 25 things that I've learned in my 25 years on this earth. They were a bit deeper than I thought they actually were. I wrote them on the plane, and that just goes to show how my brain works. Like, these are the things that I conceptualized to put into sentences to talk to you about. But they're the things I've learned. I've obviously learned a lot more things, but I had to keep it short to 25. But I hope you took something from it. There's a lot to learn every single day, and that's what makes life very, very exciting and very enjoyable as well. So thank you so much for watching. I'm hopefully going to be back to my usual uploads of one a week, starting soon. It's just been a very busy period of life right now, with Christmas and New Year's at home and coming back to New York, and also business being very, very busy at the moment. Running health and wellness businesses in January is no joke, guys. I've been glued to this chair for 12 to 15 hours a day since getting back to New York, but grateful for it nonetheless. But anyways, I'm waffling. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.